Hello, what have we here?
You're wrong.
Damn! What the hell was that?
Game over, man. Game over.
You're wrong.
You finished?
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Greetings, boys and girls, lemurs and squirrels, and welcome to the Week in Geek for July the 8th in this foul year of our Lord 2026, a wholly owned subsidiary of Free Range Idiocy, wherein we present our midweek dose of geekery for you,
the people.
Y'all sit back and relax as we scrape the best news we found for this Week in Geek Wednesday off the bottom of the interweb shoe and let you know exactly how we feel about it. I am your Uncle Todd, otherwise known as Sunburnt Heat Miser, and with me, as always, the lead editor and chief bottle washer of the Week in Geek, I give you the man they call Tim.
My eyes! Oh, my eyes! I'm being blinded by the light.
I was not going to let you get the first shot in on that, sir.
I feel like I need my sunglasses. My God, you're glowing, sir. You're effervescing.
I pulled the scuttling charges on that one myself, like taking the ship down.
You did. You're not gonna get one over on me.
Nope. I'm taking the first shot there.
I'm doing well, sir. How are you? Throbbing source of heat.
Great. Actually, now that you can actually tell, hang on a second. Can you see that I was wearing sunglasses? The great thing is wearing glasses, it helps to at least disguise that. So I got that going for me. I'm doing well. Spent a day out in the lake with the fam. As you can tell, I did not SPF quite enough. So yeah, but otherwise a good 4th of July weekend. I kept all of my digits, so I'm not one of those people who has to have someone else open their ketchup bottles for the rest of their life. Happy belated July 4th, everybody, and for those in the UK who are tuning in, happy Treason Day. It was a good weekend. How about you, sir?
Well, it was there was no risk of losing one's digits because there was no opportunity to light said fireworks off. We here in the
keep a match lit if you wanted to in Chicago.
We here in the Midwest, we're contending with heavy rains and violent storms that left tree limbs tossed about to and fro, just everywhere. And it was a bit of a mess here. It was a bit of a swampy, wet mess. And so we now the nice part of course about all of this is we were just coming off a week of heat index somewhere between 100 to 110 degrees. So it's very nice to have the cooler air here, which is about the only benefit of the violent storm is usually, well, if it's cool here and a violent storm hits, it's really warm, and then vice versa. If it's really warm here and it hits, it gets cold.
Yeah.
And or not cold, but cooler. So we are enjoying that. Got to grill outside in some measure of comfort and not, step outside and I'm already like sweating buckets, which is kind of what happened this week. Even at 6 o'clock in the morning, going to the train station, I'm just like, holy moly, it's 6 a.m. What is 10? What is 12 going to look like? My God, that was ridiculous.
So that was Maine this week. So after we recorded, if you remember last week, I was sporting the sleeveless shirt and just trying to,
the gun show. Yes, sir.
And I, because I knew that we were very quickly approaching a point where we were going to have like the window shut for the entire week, know? Yeah. And as advertised, like ACs did their job this week. Thank goodness. And then we'd walk outside the house and I had flashbacks to my year of living in Virginia where I would just walk out and I'd be in a sweat immediately. And I'm like, why did I even bother showering this morning? Like, why? That was a foolish move.
Yep. The humidity is off the charts. The heat is oppressive. And
the humidity
the sun
isn't even up. The humidity wasn't actually terrible. I didn't feel
by
like
us
that.
It was.
It was not as bad as or maybe it just wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was just oppressively hot.
Yeah.
And then we got to a point where the last couple days of it, like I'm spinning the air conditioners in the house, so I'm like, okay, I don't want to use the clothes dryer because I'm already dreading our next electrical bill. So I'm like drying stuff outside. Could literally dry 2 loads of laundry in one day because it was just like microwaving like your fabric out there. Put it out, a couple hours later, go out like, yep, that's bone dry. Bring out the next load.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's actually, yesterday kind of eased off. Today was actually a really gorgeous day. Beautiful day to be on the lake.
Good.
And yeah, so hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be opening up windows and going, fresh air again. Oh, it's a lovely thing.
Yes. Very nice. But yeah, it was a pretty subdued weekend here in Chicagoland. Not that it wasn't without, a couple of interesting events. I don't know if you if you all get this out there on your East Coast news, but apparently during the Chicago fireworks, Lakeshore Drive was a practical parking lot where with people actually stepping out of their cars and just watching the fireworks from Lakeshore. Like traffic was stopped, basically. It was hysterical. Part of it was due to a fog that had rolled in off of the lake, which also then interjected itself into the Cubs-Cardinals game, where they actually had to stop the game for 15 to 20 minutes because the players could not see the ball. That's how thick the fog was in the ballpark. So,
nice.
So there were doings of a weather sort going on here this weekend. It was, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria from a weather perspective here in Chicagoland. But
I mean, that goes back to like the mistake on the lake in Cleveland when they had an old municipal stadium, and wasn't it Oil Can Boyd who once said that's what you get for building a stadium on the ocean? It's like, no, it's not an ocean. It's not.
Well,
or was that Ricky Henderson? I can't remember. It
Kinda
was one
looks
of the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's wild, man.
So yeah, but
Wrigley's kind of inland
a
little bit.
What's that?
It's not, Wrigley's kind of inland a little bit. It's not.
It is that was the. But I mean, that's the fog that kind of rolled over, and yeah, it was crazy. I was nowhere near downtown. I did not want to be.
No,
I was quietly enjoying, just my weekend. Took a nap or two, watched some Ted Lasso, which feeds into our free range Idiocy Friday topic. And then, just enjoyed just spending time with the family, started watching Moneyball with my youngest. That was fun. And my wife and I got out for a couple of meals together, which was great. And then we got together with some friends on Saturday night, which was great. So all around a solid A+ weekend. It was probably the first weekend in about 4 that I've actually been able to just kind of step away from my work as well. It's been kind of Uncle Todd knows it's been a slog. Usually when we get on for these, Uncle Todd's like, "How you doing?"
Dude, you are footloose and fancy free right now compared to where you've been the last couple weeks.
Oh, dude, I have been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic with very little guilt on my conscience. I'm just like, no, I'm just going to enjoy this. So Friday night, played a couple hours worth, and yeah, last night I tried to, but the damn game wouldn't start. The Mac launcher is a beta, so it is buggy, and so it ran into one of those moments. But today it ran fine. I got to play for about an hour.
Look at you.
I'm working my way through the Sith Inquisitor storyline now. I've gone through the Bounty Hunter. I've gone through the Smuggler. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to, as my debut as a lightsaber character is the Sith Inquisitor, which uses a double-bladed lightsaber. So
yes.
And you get some interesting Force abilities as well. So, enjoying it.
Very cool.
And your weekend, sir? So you were out on the lake. Anything else? Any grilling? Any craziness? Tomfoolery?
It's been too hot for grilling, man. Like mostly just ran around in the Jeep a little bit, which is always a good time. I actively was avoiding fireworks. Like I have not really enjoyed going to fireworks for a long time. And I think a lot of it comes down to, at a certain point, I just don't love crowds the way I used to.
Yes.
Especially unorganized crowds. Like,
we're getting old, Riggs. We're getting old.
Going to a football game or a baseball game or a concert or wherever, I tolerate it because I want to go to the thing.
Yeah.
You know? For me, fireworks, it's twofold. I really just I've seen enough fireworks at this point that I kind of know the routine. Like it, so it's not that special to me. If it is for other folks, that's fan friggin' tastic. You go and enjoy. It's just not my jammy jam. The other part is it's usually just like this unorganized mass of people in a place that is not normally geared around having an assemblage of people like that, therefore making the environment so chaotic and aggravating and frustrating because so many people just don't know how to behave in public and conduct themselves and will literally just walk right into you without a second thought. You know, like they're
the same people that block the aisle at Costco when they're getting their sample.
Yes.
Their sample, also known as my lunch.
Yeah.
So
the lack of situational awareness and just all of that, combined with just then having to figure out where to park, then how to extract yourself from that, and then because it's, again, these are not things that happen in these areas very often, so it's usually just the shoddiest of crowd control and moving of people. It's just like I have no desire to do that. Kaylin was working at at her job, and we had to go pick her up, and luckily it was like right as the fireworks were ending, so it was like zip into town, zip out of town, and beat the crowd out. And I'm like, thank God, because I don't want to deal with this. So
we're fortunate in that we live about a block south of where they launch the fireworks in Wheaton.
So you can walk.
So we basically can sit out in our front yard and just watch. I mean, like it's not perfect viewing because the trees do obscure some of it, but it is. It's great. We end up sitting there and, getting to laugh at other people who have to, drive and park in our neighborhood and then try to get out, and everyone's blocking everyone. And
exactly,
I'm just
man.
like, I got my glass of bourbon. I'm like, I'm going to go inside now. Thank you.
Yeah. I have no desire to do that. I just don't.
Oh, it's not worth it.
I know it might be, a very old fart sort of thing, but just like, I don't care because the payoff isn't there.
No,
like I went down to Gillette last year before for to go see Pink. It was a fracking great show, but you know what? That is quite a drive for me, and a walk and a half in and out, and then the traffic and all that. But I tolerate it because I want to go to the show. Fireworks ain't that good of a show for me, so
yeah.
Oh well, call me old if you want.
Nope. I'm with you. And by the way, I just need to say, as it gets darker there where you are, you are just glowing, sir. I'm looking at him just like, my God, now I'm really seeing it. When we first got on, there was a fair amount of daylight coming in through what I can only assume is a skylight over your shoulder, correct? And so Uncle Todd was basically like, "Oh, do you notice?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because the lighting was just weird. But now, as the lighting is getting dimmer, the Uncle Todd nightlight is coming out. Whoa.
I'm friggin' Rudolph right now.
And then tomorrow morning when he gets out of bed, it's going to be, ah!
I'm telling you, man, my wife did me the favor of like hosing me down with aloe. And again, I'm just hoping this t-shirt, like, it seems like it's not sticking.
How is it when you, like, did you have your shirt off or were you...
Oh yeah, I was complete. Oh yeah.
Okay, so how is it moving around in the shirt? Like, are you like as we talked about? The shower after is always
crinkly.
Interesting.
It's crinkly. It's crinkly.
Crinkly. Okay.
Yeah. This one could hurt.
I just know for me because after I have a sunburn and I put on a shirt and I start to move and my shoulder. Oh my God, I'm just in pain.
Yeah,
just in pain. Pain, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's talk about something else. Anything else?
Come on, let's do a shimmy. Sorry. All right, next item. So we have to adjudicate something here a little bit. Maybe this is adjudication. Maybe this is just a debate or discussion. But last week, Uncle Todd gave me a verbal lashing because of my CM Punk pick in the Night of Champions King of the Ring finals, because it was just out of nowhere and it completely just blew apart any sort of, sensible logic that comes out of this tournament. And then we get to Monday Night Raw, where Obafemi apparently thinks the title shot's always going to be there, and I'm going to go after Brock now, and I'm just going to totally just take myself out of this, extricate myself from it. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Seth Rollins is challenging Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship because, hey, why not? The Shield boys, we're running out of time. We hold Riggs. That's going to be the theme here. We hold Riggs. Seth basically laying out a very calm and somewhat logical argumentation to Mr. Reigns, to Mr. OTC. But I'm sitting here wondering, Uncle Todd, is your brain blowing up right now? Because my pick of Punk interjecting himself in threw you off so much. And now they basically did that on Monday Night Raw with Rollins jumping in for the World Heavyweight Championship. The King of the Ring meant absolutely nothing. I don't know if Obafemi's cashing anything in later on, or if it's just, hey, at some point I'll challenge for the belt because I'm the ruler and I'm going to strut my way down and be on top. But I wanted to get your reactions. I could only think of you and how you must have calmly been processing this news last week.
I mean, like, it was already devalued just because, again, we were getting to kind of where you wanted to go in the most boring possible way anyways. And so it had already been, the shine was already off. My problem with your scheme was that it was so absolutely Rube Goldberg, like just, oh, well, this ball has to go down, then it hits the mousetrap, and then it throws this ping pong ball over here, and it swings the golf club that then lights this thing on fire. Like, that to me was just like, there's no way this is happening the way you say it's going to happen. That was a thing. As far
how is
as
it any more of a Rube Goldberg than just all of a sudden plugging Seth Rollins in?
Because we just don't see that
Seth
sort of
Rollins
thing happen. No. Let me finish. Because the WWE has not been doing that sort of thing at PLEs.
Okay.
And this is kind of no, it is dumb. I'm not saying I agree with it or I endorse it. I don't really know what the hell is going on here, unless of course, like, it is basically like
none of us do.
Like Triple H has like 50% control because then the rest of it is getting phoned in from on high.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know, because to me, none of these decisions make that much sense. Like it seems like there is very much if you want Brock and Oba at SummerSlam, it seems like there's a much more logical way that you can work around this.
Mm-hmm.
If you want Seth versus Roman at SummerSlam, it seems like there's another way that you could work around this where we don't need to all of a sudden just build this out of nowhere.
It just made the tournament completely useless. Like, I don't understand why we just went through this tournament if the winner decided, hey, I don't feel like doing anything, I'm going to go do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nope. I do not know. So, no, it is not any better, but it still does not make your cockamamie idea that much better.
I feel vindicated. I feel that my
vindicated.
That my pick,
oh my gosh,
once again reflected the state of where pro wrestling can go. It simply happened on Raw instead of a PLE. I was right on the money. It very well could have happened.
We're not right on the money. That is not what happened at all. None of those things that you predicted happened at all. That is not vindication. That is not right on the money.
I recognize. But your entire argument is, why would someone out of nowhere like Punk just be interjected? That makes no. And then they go and basically do that with Rollins, except they just didn't put him in the tournament. They basically just made him the number one contender out of nowhere. Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins was not a number one contender.
Because it didn't actually happen. Your prediction didn't happen. It didn't happen.
But
that's
it
why.
Could have. And the fact. Don't listen to him, Lord.
There's a lot of things that could happen. They don't happen, and that is what makes predictions wrong. I know we're living in a friggin' post-truth world, but for frack's sake, can we at least have some standards on this show, sir?
Wait, the post-truth, did our truth retire? What happened?
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, mark this date, July. It's July 8th, 2026. Uncle Todd, I have flummoxed him.
That flummoxed me. You've just pissed me off to the highest degree of passivity.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, deep breath. Setting aside the
wrongness of your prediction, yes.
Well, because who knows? Punk could still end up in the world title.
But it did not happen at that particular show in that way that you said it would.
It did not. You're right.
Thank you.
But it could have.
Oh.
So there's a multiverse where it might have. You know what I mean? So what can I say?
There's a multiverse where I'd be in that room right now so I could smack the shit out of you. And I really wish I was in that multiverse right now.
But overall, you're so I'll just say, so I haven't watched the Raw yet. I'm still kind of working through my backlog of Raws. Just again, my June was kind of a mess, and my ability to watch really anything was challenged. So I'm getting caught up. But from what I read on Cage Side Seats, who always provides a good review and everything, it was and from what I saw on the YouTube clip of it, I don't mind that they're going this route. I just don't understand why they couldn't have done a more logical story to it. We've had one interaction between Roman and Seth, and it was some backstage bit where Roman was walking. I think it was either Roman or Seth was walking to Gorilla. They see each other, they have a word, and then one of them walks out because they were about to do a promo or something like that, or they were opening the show. But that's been it. That's been the only interaction the two of them have had. There's been no story build up to this at all. And while I appreciate what the story they're trying to tell, which is that Roman has never shaken the monkey of Seth off of his back, that it's always been, Seth has always gotten one over on him and Roman has not defeated him. I don't know. I felt like there could have been a better build toward it than just Seth showing up all of a sudden saying, hey, by the way, I'm going to challenge you at SummerSlam because you and we used to be part of this thing called the Shield, and why not? I mean, that's literally the logic they used.
Agreed.
I'm beside myself. Whereas, can I just bring the Punk thing in for a moment?
Okay.
At least Punk said to Cody, or alluded to the fact, that you never know when a title shot will fall from the sky, which kind of gives the sense that maybe Punk is going to, surprise him or appear or interject himself in some surprising way to challenge Cody and, potentially walk away with the belt. Who knows? There's big rumors that he's going to show up this Monday because they're in Chicago at the Allstate Arena, and Sammy is supposed to defend against Cody. And so I've read Punk's going to cause Sammy to lose, or Punk's going to cause Cody to lose, or whatever. And that's fine because the King of the Ring really has no bearing on that. It's just more the fact that I just feel like if the whole idea was for Oba,
but it should have bearing on that because Oba should be making a choice between who he's going to.
Fair enough.
But we've taken that out again. Yes. No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. But like where I'm just going is if the whole idea was Oba and Brock in Minneapolis, I just feel like, and I know you didn't agree with this, but I just feel like someone taking Oba out before he goes out for the finals match, forcing, nervous Adam Pearce to have to put on some sort of King of the Ring final and plugging someone in there who happened to be there. There are a couple of storyline options that would literally make more sense than what they've done here. Like they could have, now it would not have made sense to plug Seth in. Although if they did plug him in, at least him winning would then lead to him going to Roman. It's like, okay, there's continuity, there's logic. I can accept that. But no, they just went the route of Oba goes down. I mean, he we talked about this. The match with him and Jay went way longer than it should have. Like Oba should have just like squashed him like a bug. I mean, he really had no business going that long with him. And then Oba should have challenged Roman. And there would have been storyline, callbacks you could have gone to. I mentioned one at WrestleMania post show that they could have gone back to drive the story of this match. I don't get it. I don't understand it. If the plan all along was Brock and Oba, I don't know why you make Oba the king of the ring right now. And if anything, it would add more fuel on the fire for him and Brock to fight at SummerSlam if Brock costs him an opportunity to prove himself. This whole thing where he comes out and it's all about, oh, I heard you call me a punk and a bitch and and now say that to my face. And it's just like to me, that was lame. I'm just like, seriously, like this is a name calling thing now. And he's like, oh, when you talk shit, you get hit. And it's like, oh, aren't you, Brock, I'm glad toward the end, you're finally learning how to cut a promo. It only took 25 years. So, yeah. But nonetheless, I don't like how they did this. I mean, it's not to say I'm not excited about the matchup, but I really, as we talked about with WrestleMania, especially night one, I just really hope the match with Roman and Seth doesn't. I mean, I don't think it will suffer because they have a deep history. They have a deep story to pull from. But just the build to this, I just feel was out of left field.
The fact is, it deserves more of a build.
Yes.
The fact that, because I'm sure the argument is we don't need to have that much build because Seth and Roman have so much history. We can just draw on that. We can throw this together. It's like, if they have this much history, then it deserves to have some kind of sensical build, unless this is literally like, this is a decision of Seth Rollins had an epiphany throughout this whole vision thing and is like, I think I'm going to be done by Mania next year. Maybe he had that epiphany and came into creative and was like, hey, Mr. Booker Man, I'm going to be done by Mania next year. My body can't hack it. I can't hack it. I'm tired. I want to go home and not deal with this.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
And maybe that's their thing is like, okay, well, if we're going to do that, well, like we need one more match with Seth and Roman. Like that would be a shame to not tie that up. And then we need to figure out how we still get Seth and Punk, because that's still a thread that's hanging. So maybe that's the thought here. But at the same time, like we couldn't have, I don't know, like that is the only plausible way that I look at this and go, okay, well, now we've got to microwave this thing, because obviously maybe it makes more sense to have Roman on a short, reign here, or like a short ramp to that, and then stretch Rollins and Punk out till Mania. Who friggin' knows? Like, I'm giving up on trying to figure out what is sensically happening at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going to have, like, literally, if you really want Oba Brock for SummerSlam, Oba should not have been in the King of the Ring.
Right.
Like this should have been done and laid out in a much more deliberate manner. And if nothing else, Brock should have come back and knocked out Oba so that he couldn't have been even part of the King of the Ring. Like,
right. And
I get that it's a showcase, but you don't need to showcase this guy.
Right. And to me, it was great fodder for him to, especially with Oba making it to the finals, is to cost him the match, because it could have been played off as Brock. It wasn't enough for Brock to beat him in the way that he beat him in Clash in Italy. Now he's messing with him, and it just would have been at least a layer on top of the story that was already being built, that I feel would have added some juice to the SummerSlam match, because now Oba, like, yes, Oba can go into that third match fired up and whatever, and just take it to Brock and all gas, no brakes, not his gimmick, but you know what I mean. But man, for Brock to toy with the ruler and basically make him look foolish by having him lose or not even be able to compete in the finals of the King of the Ring, just like would have given Oba more motivation, where at SummerSlam he doesn't come strutting out. He comes out Ultimate Warrior style, fires into the ring, and just starts going to town on Brock. Like, that to me would have been a very compelling start to that third match, because Oba has a reason now to take it to Brock. Brock is at the tail end of his career. He's retired. He's whatever he is. And here's Oba trying to start to build his legacy. And Brock is farting around, screwing it up for him when he clearly had a path to win.
Yeah.
So there was such an easy story there for them to tell. And it's like, why they left that on the table for it to be about a name calling thing was just so freaking stupid. Like, I'm still looking forward to the third match, but I'm just, I don't know. Just could have had more juice.
They've taken a lot of shine off of this, and part of it, we don't understand what's going on backstage. We don't know the machinations and all that. The only thing I can think of is how much of this is being driven by either folks above, corporately speaking, which there's nothing you can do about that, or how much of this was driven by Brock. And if he truly did go rogue at WrestleMania, and then him coming back and kind of being like, oh, I'll do this or I'll do that, but you have to do it my way, sort of thing. And if that's the case, then you know what? Shame on Triple H. I'm sorry. I mean, I know he's an attraction and all this, but at some point you got to put your foot down and be like, I'm not playing that game.
Yeah.
You want to retire? Go ahead and retire.
Yep.
That's it. It's a nice moment for us. We can replay that from now until the cows come home. That works for us. Thanks.
Yeah. Yep.
And that works great for Oba, because now I can have him go out on Raw and say, I slew the beast, and we just move on.
Yeah.
But if you're going to let somebody else take over, like, okay, well, I guess you're not really in charge, are you?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyways, I can't talk much more about it because
no. I think we've taken it as. I mean, I just wanted to get your reaction to it, and just I know we started with a lot of laughter and joking about my pick with Punk, but it felt as random as that pick I made, and it just I don't know, just as a fan, I was just hoping for a little bit more of a logical build with some continuity, and we'll see. I mean, they have 4 weeks now to build toward Rollins Reigns. They have 4 weeks to build toward Femi and Lesnar. I'm sure Femi's going to get his shots in. They're going to build it the right way, but it just really devalued in my mind the King of the Ring, and at a time when, and I know you don't agree with me, but I like the fact they started, similar to what they did with the Royal Rumble a long time back, where they turned it into at one time it was a bragging rights sort of match, and then it became a match where you can earn a shot at the world title. And I liked them bringing that angle into it, because it at least gave it some more purpose. Because in this day and age, like back in the in the early 90s, when they brought back King of the Ring in 93, they always made it about, whoever won, would always have the king garb and be this, that was their title. And it was just like, in this day and age, that just doesn't hold anything, like no one wants to watch someone parade around in a crown and a cape, unless there's someone like, Xavier Woods or some, comedy character where they can turn it into something goofy, or like Booker T when he did his King Booker thing, which was absolutely hysterical and well done. So it can be done, but I like the fact that there's actual stakes, that these wrestlers, male and female, are fighting for, so that they can challenge for a prize that is, that has some prestige to it. And so, So anyways, I would have appreciated something with a little more logic to it. So.
I just think the issue with having all of these mechanisms to get a shot at the championship, now it becomes a tough ask to figure out how to weave all of those in along with your regular programming. Because
Yep.
if you get you win the King of the Ring, well, or Queen of the Ring, you get a shot at SummerSlam. Okay, cool. The next one after SummerSlam is Money in the Bank. You win Money in the Bank, now you can cash in anytime. Okay, now we get to Royal Rumble. Now you get again a shot at whichever champion you want at WrestleMania. The problem being there is you create this almost this moment of stasis. Because especially where they've been building stuff, the Royal Rumble in particular, you always have that face off of, ooh, this person. It's like, well, now I know that championship is not going to move for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, something about that just seems wrong to me. Like if it's truly a championship, you either have to make it like a big fight thing, like, okay, it is a program going forward, and we know that it's a set 3 months in advance. We're going to have this person versus this person, and now there's the war of words and shenanigans and trying to get the better of each other, and maybe sneak attacking each other or whatever. But when it's like, oh well, now it's just going to be talking. Because that's what we have now is we have talking feuds. There's very little physical confrontation in any of these feuds. And you're not going to see much of Brock and Oba. You'll see like the run-ins and stuff like that, but they're not going to have a match between now and then. Sure as shooting, Roman ain't going to have a match between now and SummerSlam. So like after a while, it just sort of gets to be this thing like, okay, the promo war between everything. Like I kind of like the idea. The last champion I was really behind was CM Punk.
Yeah.
Because of the fighting champion thing. And I don't know if that was driven by him or if that was just creative or whatever, but actually having someone who, I don't know, defends the title, not on a PLE. That was kind of cool. Yeah. And just having matches to have matches. Like, wow, what a concept. But you start pinning yourself into these situations with guys like Roman, with guys like Brock, where now nothing is going to happen of consequence really in this next month. Like there'll be this, but I mean, you're only going to get them for so many appearances, and they're only going to do so much because they're old and they don't have to.
Yep.
So like, what's really the reason to watch the TV in between there?
Yeah.
Oh, the main event promo. Kiss my ass. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of the main event of every Raw or SmackDown being a fracking promo. Give me a break. Let's have a match. Someone, anybody. Yeah. I'm tired of like every single show starting out with a promo. Like throw me something different. Like let's just start the night off with a match. I don't know, just something different. You got me worked up. Now I'm just going to be upset for the rest of the show.
Success. Well, hey, at least it'll reflect the skin color. So
I can't even be mad at you. That was a good one.
Flush red with anger and warmth. All right. Our next one is actually something that was not originally on our outline as of at least 3 p.m. this afternoon. Central Time. I added it just before we jumped on because it popped in on, I will give credit to Cage Side Seats for the reporting, but they are also the proxy, as this originally came from Fightful Select, I guess is what they're called.
Okay.
That longtime star and former multi-time champion Sheamus will be leaving WWE as his contract is expiring, and he's not signing a new deal with the company. Apparently, there were reports that he was approached, again, this is from Fightful Select via Cage Side Seats, that he was approached about a restructured deal while he was out with an injury, and he rejected the offer they made. And because his contract is expiring, he won't have the standard 90-day non-compete, so he can pretty much sign anywhere as a free agent immediately. But he's also 48 years old. He's been battling through injuries as of late over the last several years. He keeps in great shape. He's a solid hand, as JR would say. The one thing that really sucks about this for me, and this is not what the article from Cage Side is pushing, this is just me editorializing, is it does suck that he's leaving without becoming a Grand Slam champion. The Intercontinental Championship was the one singles belt that eluded him. He had some really great matches with Braun Breaker as of late for that championship, as well as others, and just was really kind of a go-to. Just one of the, between him, McIntyre, and Gunther, probably, those three were what I would say probably the legit tough guys of this era. And he was one of them. Just go back and look at McIntyre and Sheamus's matches. They just beat the hell out of each other.
Didn't they have like a match with like a triple threat with the three of them?
With Gunther. Oh my God. Everyone's chest was the color of Uncle Todd's face.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I had to take the shot. One day, my friend, hide, we will be on the other side of this. So I will be the absorber, and you will be the
next week. I'm going to be peeling. I'm going to look like freaking Red Skull from Captain America.
Ladies and gentlemen, the role of Uncle Todd has been substituted by the Emperor, apparently. Post lightning bolts.
A little crispy.
Absolute power. Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Sir, thoughts on Sheamus calling it a day with WWE?
Honestly, WWE fumbled this one way back. Like I don't disagree with them not re-signing them or offering him a restructured deal. Because again, like you're 48, you are not in your prime. He was back. He did pretty well, and then he got injured again. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because it is a business at the end of the day. They're at least offering a contract. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just borderline insulting. I'm not sure. But I can understand offering a restructured deal. Like just from a business standpoint, it would not make sense to be like, yeah, let's give you the same money that we gave you on your contract. Say it was a 2-year, 3-year contract. We gave you in your mid 40s, now in your late 40s, and you've been out 50% of the time that you've been on this last contract.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That says like you're not really giving us the value for that contract,
Yeah.
So I don't disagree there. WWE fumbled this when they did not put the Intercontinental belt on him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And there was times that they had the opportunity to do it. It didn't need to be a long reign. It would have been a nice gesture. Fans would have loved it, and you could have done it in a way that made sense, and would have been a nice moment for everyone involved. And yeah, I know it's fake championships. I know that it's not an actual win. I get it, but you know what? It is a bit of prominence given to someone's career, and a nice attaboy. Like they did it for Cena, so it would have been nice to see them do that for Sheamus. And it was a missed opportunity because it would not have taken any of the shine off of Braun Breaker, especially considering how the last fracking year of Braun Breaker's career has gone. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Couldn't have gotten any worse. So yeah, that was a big fumble, and it's a shame because I, in a way, like, yeah, he can go sign with AEW, and in a way, like,
I hope he doesn't, because they're going to wear him the hell out. You know what I mean?
No, they won't. Are you kidding? Like they aren't doing house shows. They're going to wear him out.
I don't mean wear him out in the sense that he's going to be forced to do a lot of shows. Like. I'll put it to you this way.
Okay.
Mick Foley is now in AEW. There is now talk that he might do one more match. That would never happen with him in WWE. They would not let him compete because, and honestly, he should not compete anymore. He
shouldn't.
He is not where he was before. He should just be a talking personality and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my concern, is that when these personalities go to AEW. Now, thankfully, they didn't do anything with Flair and make Flair, like, I think he may have gotten physical in the sense that there was a bit they did in the ring, but he was never in a match.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have a bar or a line, I guess they don't cross. But I'm just concerned they're going to plug him in, and given his history of injuries, he's going to have, a run. Like again, not that they forced Edge to do this, Adam Copeland, but that whole, like, match he had with Malachi Black where he
jumping off the cage when you're
jumping
50?
Off the cage. Now they did that match, but I mean, who in their right mind would allow someone of his age to do something like that? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. and it's not in his best interest and in his, but I guess it's his choice. Maybe if he made the choice, that's that. But
No.
I'm just concerned if he goes there that he will get plugged in. They will try to use the Irish tough guy to, do his thing and use his star power for the benefit of the brand. But at the end of the day, what is it going to do to his health? And that to me is like, I don't know. That's what concerns me. Now, I'm not saying they're an evil organization. They use their talent, but it just feels like the bar goes down a little bit.
There's not many adults in the room.
Thank you.
To stop and say, no, we're not going to do that. Now, you can look at that however you want. Like he has free will to do it.
Sure.
And the fact is he would make a lot of money because Tony Khan would definitely break out the checkbook for him. He would, just to get another, collect another former WWE champion. I hope he doesn't, because again, I would rather not see him put himself in those positions, but that's his choice, man. And it sucks. It sucks to see it happen, but at the same time, it makes sense from both perspectives. Like, you don't get to that point in the sport without having a bit of pride. And if he feels like it was insulting, then I didn't see the numbers. So, but I really hope that if he does take Tony's money, man, I hope that he manages to be smart and doesn't get talked into doing stupid things.
Yeah.
So we will see.
We shall see. But
'tis a shame.
A little bit of late breaking news, but if nothing else, we are timely here at the Week in Geek.
This will be posted 3 days later. I need to go and make a quick break, so I'll be right back.
Put some aloe on.
What?
Put some aloe on.
I might.
A few moments later.
What do we got next here? All right, so next in the Week in Geek, we have an article I found from denofgeek.com. Again, I'm always trying to look for something a little different. This one is called "Why Star Trek's Most Iconic Piece of Technology Isn't Getting Invented Anytime Soon." And what we're talking about is the transporter, ladies and gentlemen, that is widely believed we will not have the transporter by the century 22, which is when it happens in Star Trek. We're a little bit behind when it comes to quantum physics and and some of the other.
Are you saying that's a problem?
Well, what I do, what I appreciate from this article.
And wait, are you talking about us as a species or just the two of us? Because if anybody's relying on us chuckleheads to come up with a transporter, we're all in trouble.
No. This is in general. This is not
okay. Good.
This is not.
I feel so much.
But the way this article starts off, which I appreciate, is that the Star Trek franchise's fingerprints are all over basically every piece of contemporary science fiction at this point, and in a lot of ways, has influenced, some of the technology we have today. Back at the time the original Star Trek was out, the idea of, Kirk, talking into a communicator, in the way that he does was, largely far-fetched given the technology of the time. And yet here we are today with cell phones where we very much can do, that very thing, not maybe in the way that they were doing it, but, pretty darn close.
Mm-hmm.
And so this article is just talking about, when it comes to, the transporter, the fact that is something that is quite far off in terms of, the mechanics of how this works, and the fact that our science is not even close to hitting that. So
not even close?
Not even close. As the article says, they're quoting, let's see, basically in this article. So this article, by the way, is written by Jackson McCoy. Does it pass the sniff test? Oh, good God. Jeez.
Could be.
Okay.
Could be a relative of Dr. McCoy.
Oh.
So perhaps.
Damn it, Jim. I'm a writer, not a doctor.
I'm going to give this one a thumbs up. I think this is a real person we're dealing with here.
So the transporter dilemma, as McCoy writes about, is a topic examined by the first episode of the Science Meets Pop Culture podcast, Does It Fly? Which is a collaboration between... Okay, so basically this is a puff piece to promote their podcast is what it kind of looks like. But there's a Dr. Hakeem Idiocy. They dive into the possibility of the transporter becoming part of society. Fortunately, it's not looking good for anyone who ever wanted to travel across light and space in just a few seconds. The good doctor says, here's the problem. Doing a transporter is many things altogether, and the first thing is a measurement and a data storage problem. What information do I want to store? How do we? And so he's kind of going into the science behind if you were to try to make a transporter work, what kind of goes into it. And I think his main point is there's a lot of science problems to solve here. Yeah. He's calling out storage as one of them because obviously part of the transporter is, taking the particles that are there, decomposing them, but being able to store them because they have to be transported to where you're sending it. Mm-hmm. And his point is that we are much further away from quantum teleportation. It's a physics principle that has exciting potential for the future of human technology, but as of right now, is not capable. Right now, human technology isn't even capable of putting astronauts on Mars without a rocket. So his whole point is we are, science-wise, and I would assume like Neil deGrasse Tyson would agree, we are a bit behind or a bit far off from that. But it's not to say it, could never be achievable. Breakthroughs happen. Mm-hmm. We've seen disruption in the tech industry on a number of levels and number of times. Mm-hmm. The iPhone actually was one of the big ones. Was when that came out. Yeah. That was a massive disruptor. I was working for one of the companies that got sunk by that whole thing. Mm-hmm. So, because Nokia was the king of the candy bar, flip phones at the time, and when the iPhone came out, that put a significant dent in their business, and really led to Microsoft buying them, or buying at least their mobile phone division, and really Nokia was no longer a player in that. So all in all, just thoughts on this, sir. Are you disappointed that we're that far off from the transporter? Were you hoping, especially in your sunburnt state, to be able to transport from point A to point B in a less painful way?
Disappointed, yes. Surprised, no. I look around at the people currently that I share this planet with, and I shake my head. So no, I'm not surprised at all that I
look down on them with disdain and anger.
No, it's not so much disdain. I am just bummed out by how many people can't even manage to use a turn signal, nor be able to share a doorway with others. Yes. Without being complete tool bags. So no, this doesn't surprise me that we are not, on the doorstep of having transporters.
What you have just stated is my position on the flying cars of the, for example, cartoon show The Jetsons or Back to the Future 2. I think one of the reasons we can't even get flying cars is because we can't even handle cars driving on the ground.
No, we can't. And a lot of that comes down to just not being able to tell people no.
Yes.
Like one of the ways that you could, well, two things. Not being able to say no to people, and also not being willing to actually build a structure that would make the people who shouldn't be using that technology able to function in society. There's a lot of people who should not be driving. There's a lot of older people who should not be driving. However, unfortunately, in the society that we have built, if you're not living downtown of a major city, it is really hard for you to get around.
Yeah.
So therefore, a lot of those people, that's the only way they're going to get their medications. They're going to get to the doctor's appointments. They're going to see family, friends, whatever, is they get in their car. And every time it's almost like a sort of thing.
Yeah.
We cannot manage these things.
Yeah. As
a society, we have not grown up enough as a society. So therefore, it's like if you can't solve 1 + 1, how are you going to figure out the square root of Yeah. It ain't going to happen. So, that's why I say surprising. It's not like I'm looking down. Unfortunately, I'm just bummed out by how we have We have the ability to solve so many problems, and we just don't do it.
Mm-hmm. I think it comes down to another thing too, which is just the ability to. Well, I'll say it this way, and I'm not trying to say this to Barry Horowitz myself and pat myself on the back here, but I find more often than not that people driving, for example, do not like to yield to other people or like to give people the right of way.
Mm-hmm.
There is and again, I don't know where it comes from necessarily, but there is this sense of I'm first.
Mm-hmm.
Where I have to go is more important. I need to get mine before you get yours. And it's and to me, I think if we can solve that as a society, if we can somehow get to a place where there can be more thoughtfulness there, then I think some of this stuff becomes unlocked, because you need to have that sort of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because and again, maybe I'm being too idealistic or too optimistic, but I just don't see how you graduate up to some of these more ambitious sort of technologies unless you have more of a general sense of we all have to be kind of looking out for each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got to be way more we and a lot less me.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon, because it only seems to be getting further in the other direction.
Yes.
And it is disheartening, to say the least.
It is. It is. But I do believe at some point down the line, and it will be long after this podcast and these idiots have shuffled off this mortal coil, that there will be someone who discovers the trick, the way for doing this sort of technology. I think it can happen. We're just not there yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, this guy also thought that CM Punk was going to emerge as the King of the Ring through some sort of Rube Goldberg
It could have happened,
booking
folks.
trap.
No, it's not Rube Goldberg.
Keep that. Oh, it is.
Very consistent, very continuity oriented, possible. Just didn't happen. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
In other terms, we call that horse shit.
No, it's an educated guess that just didn't pan out.
Educated guess. Oh my. Teachers everywhere should be pissed at you even having the word education in your mouth right now. They should just want to slap the taste out of it.
Oh, I love it. All right. Moving right along from transporters to something that is near and dear, two things that are near and dear to Uncle Todd's heart. One is Tombstone. The other, screenwriting. So this site I found, this kind of popped up in my feed out of nowhere, but I thought this was really interesting. It was from a site called nofilmschool.com.
Okay.
I joke about it being part of our portfolio, but legitimately, I read this and I thought this was really interesting. Now, I don't think you've had a chance to read the article yet.
I have not.
But the summary of this basically is how, and so this this author's name is J.O. Light. Mm-hmm. That passed the sniff test? I love how this has turned into like a whole segment of him just like snorting on his microphone. Good God.
I think there's a decent enough probability to go with.
Yeah, okay, human. Do you need to clean off your microphone after that? I mean, I feel like there was a good bit of snot that was blown on that thing. Good God almighty. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
tastes like cotton candy.
Yeah, I bet it does. Oh, God free. Oh, anyways. Yes. Well, the article is basically titled "The Wyatt Earp Line That Remains one of Western Cinema's Coldest Comebacks." And it's really about how to write a character who breaks someone's will without raising their voice. Mm. And I thought this was really interesting and wanted to get your thoughts on this. And the scene in question is when Wyatt Earp, as played by Kurt Russell, enters into a bar, and he happens to see Billy Bob Thornton playing Johnny Tyler, who is at the faro table, I believe, right?
Yes.
Pharaoh being a card game of that time, and he's basically trying to run the game, but is just literally yelling and slapping around everyone. It really is quite a scene, because you're looking at like, how on earth is this guy running a game? He's like antagonizing everyone. And Wyatt Earp goes over, and it is one of the scenes that you and I have lauded as just one of the smoothest badass scenes ever. And this article is
he
all
goes
about
over.
it.
He's got his cigar that he just lit up. He's like, "You're sitting in my chair," and just
I wish you could pull up. Can you pull up the article for a moment? Because they have all of the dialogue, and for a moment, if I could be Johnny Tyler, and I will let you be Wyatt Earp. We can go back and forth on this one.
Okay.
You have it?
Oh yeah.
So scroll down. There's a section called The Scene, and it has the dialogue. And so Billy Bob Thornton's character, he goes, "Something on your mind?"
Just wanted to let you know you're sitting in my chair.
And so the writer writes, Tyler looks Wyatt over and sneers. Wyatt is unarmed. That's Tyler's advantage, or so he thinks. And then, oh shoot, is this Wyatt or is this him that says that? For a man that, let me see.
So this isn't exactly.
Oh, it isn't exactly it.
No,
okay,
this is not line for line.
Because Wyatt says this: for a man that don't go healed, you run your mouth kind of reckless, don't you, or something like that, right?
No. So there's a back and forth with him, and basically like Wyatt kind of raises his voice a little bit, but he is never not in control of the situation. Like it is the guy. It is the way that they portray Wyatt the entire time, even though he is not the eldest of the brothers.
Who is steely cold. He's like steel.
But I mean, just overall his character, like even when you first see Wyatt Earp, like his brothers are looking up to him. Even his older brother kind of looks up to him. Like he is the guy. Right. And he just easily wears that. Like it's like a coat that he just puts on. Like, yeah, I'm the guy.
And so Tyler goes for his gun.
Yeah.
And Wyatt nods and tells him to draw. And go ahead, say the line.
Oh, so yeah, go ahead. No, because this is the point where hasn't he slapped him at this point?
No, Wyatt nods and tells him to draw, and he says, "Go ahead, skin that smoke wagon and see what happens."
Yeah. And
then Tyler tries to escape by talking. "Listen, mister, I'm getting awfully tired of your slap." He gets the completely slap.
This thing go to work. And yeah.
And he slaps him 2 more times after that, and some blood comes out of his mouth.
Yep. And
by the 3rd slap, Tyler is broken and unresponsive. And what does Wyatt say?
"You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?"
Oh, cold, stone cold right there.
And the thing is, like at that point, like Tyler's already embarrassed and this is the again.
He's been exposed at that point.
Well,
like
because
he's been the tough guy.
He's been the tough guy bully, and then a real tough guy comes in.
Yep.
And this is what happens.
Yep.
Because he doesn't know what to do, because here's a guy who's walking up on him, and he's armed, and Wyatt doesn't draw a gun. Like he's not even like in most of this movie, he isn't not carrying a weapon.
Yep.
And it's literally the people around him protecting him, and just the fact that he's just like apparently untouchable. Like when they have that shootout by the creek, and he's just walking into a hail of bullets and shoots however many people. Because again, Ike Clanton manages to get away for the umpteenth time.
Well, he does that to Ike Clanton when what's his face, their leader shoots the sheriff.
Yes.
And Wyatt grabs, because he was drunk. I forget his name. He's played by Powers Booth. He's played by Powers Booth.
Yeah.
And Wyatt grabs him, and Ike confronts him. He's like, you let him go. And he immediately cocks the gun and puts it right to his head. He's like, "I'm going to make a canoe out of your head if you don't back off," or whatever. Or tell your guys to back off. And right away, Ike's just like, he's not lying.
Yeah. Then the shootout the OK Corral.
Yes.
Like the shooting starts, and Ike is trying to surrender to Wyatt, and Wyatt's like, if you're not fighting, get
to fighting or get away or something like that,
And I mean, but it's a story of Wyatt. Like, what is scarier than someone who literally is unarmed, who just walks in and acts like he owns that place. Like
Yeah.
he literally has been in the establishment less than 10 minutes, and he is essentially pissing on your shoes to let you know that this is his territory.
Yeah.
And then just smacks the living crap out of you in front of all these people who think that you're a tough guy. And he doesn't even just grab him by the throat or anything. He grabs him by the ear like he's a little child.
Mm-hmm.
And tosses his ass out into the street, and then doesn't bother to look if he's coming back or anything. He just turns around to the owner, and he's like, "So," and negotiates his terms for taking over the Pharaoh game.
Yep.
Holy crap!
And so the author of this article, and this is where you being, sir, more of a writer than I, basically comments how many beginner writers would turn this into a shouting match or an automatic shootout with both characters yelling, insulting, and trying to out-tough each other through dialogue. And the violence would be explosive. And maybe even the whole saloon would get involved, which is what you typically see happen in less nuanced or old-fashioned Westerns. And I love this. They actually called to do a callback to the Western segment with Billy the Kid and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which I'm like, I don't know if that's
it's not a fair comparison.
Western example, because that's kind of a satire, of sorts.
Yeah.
But just talking about how on the nose the dialogue is that Wyatt like they don't over explain the power dynamic. The power dynamic is basically expressed through the emotion, the intensity, and just the calmness of the dialogue with Wyatt and with Tyler. And as I was reading this article, and it kind of goes into like, a little bit more of a screenwriting lesson about, how the most intense scenes are built through characters' actions, not only what they say. In this scene, Wyatt immediately reads Tyler. He sees the true fear underneath the aggression. He steps forward and Tyler flinches. Wyatt knows he's already won. Tyler doesn't want to fight. He just wants enough, he just wants the posturing to be enough. And so I think what the article is getting at is the subtlety of the writing there, that, that there's a way for characters to, express a power dynamic without having to go into the actions. And the thing that it reminded me of, and I know you haven't watched the show yet, you will at some point, but in Game of Thrones,
oh no, I won't. Jeez.
Tywin Lannister, who plays the father of one of the families, one of the 5 families, if you will, of this realm, has a very prescient line that he says to his grandson, who happens to be king, but is also this very evil, very spoiled, very entitled individual, because he very whiny. He basically does exactly what this author says you shouldn't be doing when you write these sort of things. Like, he has to express his aggression and his power through a lot of action, and yet has to remind everyone who he is. And so basically, and this king his name is Joffrey. And so his grandfather is basically his advisor. And so his grandfather says to him, after a scene where he's, demanding people bow to him because he's king, he says to him, "Any man who must say, 'I am the king,' is no true king." And I felt that was relevant to this article, because in a way that's what Wyatt was doing. Wyatt, in this scene, the way it was written, it becomes very clear. And again, Wyatt Earp has this legend about him, has this aura about him because of what he's accomplished in his past. That's something that kind of carries through the movie of Tombstone, is everyone knows who Wyatt Earp is. He's just trying, in his mind, he's just trying to live a normal life. He's trying to, he's taken himself out of, the work that he had been doing as a sheriff or as a, I don't know what you call him.
As a sheriff,
a marshal or whatever. He's trying to build a different life for himself with his brothers and that sort of thing. But yet everyone who runs into him, once they know who he is, they're in awe of him because of the legend of Wyatt Earp. And so in a way, the way they wrote that scene kind of plays off that a little bit, where he does have, like you said, he has that sort of attitude. Like in some ways, he's almost like to Johnny Tyler's, like, "Don't you know who I am?" Sort of thing. It does have a little bit of, he's not saying that, but he plays it that way.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And and the interesting thing, I can't remember the story of all of this. I can't remember if the screenwriter was the guy who was going to direct or what it was, but the first director was like essentially behind by a week, like after the first day of shooting. Like it was a absolute clusterfuck, and essentially Kurt Russell ghost directed this movie. And the thing that I'll use another example of what I feel would be a bit better comparison than Bill and Ted, is the scene from Django Unchained when you have Christoph Waltz and Jamie Foxx going into the saloon, and basically everyone runs out and they go get the sheriff, and he's like, make sure you get the sheriff. And it's like this very unconventional sort of thing where Christoph's character is never not in control, and it's not in a mean sort of way, but he just kind of knows how this whole thing is going to play out. Yeah. He's clever enough to do it. And you can rely on the thing that can interfere here is once a screenwriter normally is done with a script, a lot of the times it's out of their hands. Like screenwriters are not, as a rule, invited to the set, in constant contact with the director and all that. A lot of times, like, you sell a screenplay, that's about it. You might be consulted or you might not. People with more clout are going to get consulted, but then it gets into the hand of the director and the actors, and they can make their own choices. So there, I mean, yes, I think the writer has a lot, and you should write it a certain way, but it is tough because as a writer, you're always like, okay, there's going to be at least one other interpretation of this, being the director. And the director might tell the actors what they're going to do, but then there could be a couple of other layers of interpretation of this. So even if you write like the best screenplay possible and you write all these quiet moments, someone could still be like, no, we're going to do it this way, So it's a great thing to teach, but at the same time, there's plenty of stories of betrayal at different levels. The screenwriter being betrayed by the interpretation of actors and directors being betrayed by the studio and getting locked out of the editing room and all. So there's all kinds of different ways that this can twist and turn. But I mean, the beginning of it is the writing, and starting off with a scene like that a director and actors can go, oh, yeah, that's going to be cool. Let's see how we do that and not screw it up, is always a good thing.
Yeah. Something I was just, as you were talking, I was kind of looking at other parts of the article, and they were saying, let me see. Most intense scenes build through characters' actions. Wyatt, I think I said this already. He reads Tyler immediately. Building tension can be about narrowing options. Wyatt removes Tyler's escape routes. The verbal escape or talking his way out is blocked by the slaps. Physical escape is blocked by Wyatt's forward momentum and certainty. And then psychological escape, the tough guy act, is blocked when Wyatt names what he sees. Damn right you're scared. I can see it in your eyes. And when your character tries to escape through dialogue, you have to cut off the escape route. So the moment Tyler waffles, Wyatt slaps him. By the third slap, Tyler has figured it out. I have no way to win here. I can draw or I can go. Regardless, I'm done.
Yeah. And then the unusual part of this is a lot of the time that would not be immediately followed up. We get the immediate follow-up on this with Johnny Tyler coming out around a building with a shotgun.
Yes.
And he gets humiliated yet again.
Johnny Tyler, madcap.
And you literally then have like both Doc and Wyatt then realize, no, immediately, he is so little of a threat. They let him sit there with a loaded shotgun as they have their little reunion and they chit chat and this and that and the other. And you have Doc then completely humiliating Johnny Tyler on top of already getting the taste back out of his mouth. Sorry, I forgot you were there. You may go now.
You may go now.
And then just
and then he puts the gun.
One more shot in. Why it's leave that shotgun.
Right.
Holy crap! Literally, you have a loaded shotgun held on the dude that you want to kill. He just tells you to leave the shotgun. You're like, okay, and just walk off into the sunset.
Well, it's not even that he says okay. He puts it down. He's like, thank you. He walks off.
I forgot about that.
Johnny Tyler's done at that point. There is nothing left.
He needs to leave. He's leaving town immediately after that scene. If he
my God, yes.
what else do you do?
Yep. what's the other thing it says here? Yeah, let silence and action do more work than dialogue. You're going to do something or just stand there and bleed. It only works because Tyler is already broken. The real work happened in the slaps, the stepping forward, the calm voice telling him to draw, and the absolute certainty underneath it all. And that is true. I mean, that, and again, it's one of those things that you can write it off as just, it's a Western and they're doing Western things or whatever. But there's an element, like when I watch this movie and stuff, I think about sometimes, while I know it's an over dramatization of what the West may have been like. I mean, it was called the Wild West for a reason. And there was probably, you had individuals like this that were probably exerting, their dominance because there was really no law, and so it does stand to reason that, while it can come off as Wyatt being kind of a bad guy and that sort of thing, but, Tyler has kind of already established who he is through the bullying that he's doing and the way he's running a game that's essentially crooked because he's basically, yelling at the players on, what to do and how to do it and all of that. And so Wyatt's coming in and trying to not only right a wrong, but also sees an opportunity for he and his brothers to have, a stake in now something that they can make some serious money off of and stuff. So, but I found it really interesting, not just to read about the quote and, the scene again, but also to understand a little bit more behind the thought process that goes into the writing part of it, and that's the part that, I was kind of curious what your thoughts were on that, because it's a very well written scene, and it definitely conveys, an element of who Wyatt Earp is, and really Johnny Tyler is really nothing more than kind of a tool of introduction to Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, and so. But yeah,
no,
very interesting. Very interesting. All right. Our final story. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't get away from it completely. Avengers Doomsday, the trailer.
I knew it'd be back sooner or later.
The trailer, folks, is coming out soon. When is it coming out? Well, look no further than our portfolio staple, bamsmackpow.com.
Okay.
Once again, coming through as they always do. Can
I predict when it's going to be?
Please.
Did they give you a date?
There's not a firm date, but there is an event.
I'm thinking the premiere of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
No.
Really?
So just before, I think it's the week before Spider-Man comes out.
Okay.
The San Diego Comic-Con 2026 has taken place.
So they're going to show it there, and then
Marvel Studios
have to wait a week or something.
No,
right?
Marvel Studios has confirmed it will hold its iconic Hall H panel later this month in July.
Okay.
And while it hasn't been revealed what will be showcased during the event, it is largely believed that Avengers Doomsday, the trailer, the full length trailer, will be debuted there. And then there was another article I linked that basically confirmed that and said it'll be about an hour after it debuts at the show that they will put it out on YouTube.
All right.
So the show is, I believe, the 23rd through the 26th of July. It's going to be before Spider-Man comes out in theaters. But it would make sense to have the first, not teaser trailer, but a, longer trailer, come out as we are now, 5 months out from when it's supposed to come out in theaters. So
rounds about, yep.
Start whetting the appetite of the fans. What say you, sir, to this revelation?
About fracking time. I'm again. You go past titillation into just pissing someone off after a while. It's like, okay, fine. Like, I'm glad that we've had an embargo on Doomsday, articles and news.
Try to stay away, my friend. I've tried to stay away.
I appreciate that, because after a while it really was just getting on my nerves, because there was so many straws being grasped, there was no straws left.
My time to shine hello is like the Johnny Tyler to your Wyatt Earp. You know what I mean?
Dear God, yes. I'd love to.
Oh my gosh. But so some of the and actually this past June there was some footage that leaked that showed the Avengers teaming up with the X-Men to fight against Sentinels controlled by Doom himself. So I don't know if you caught any of that. I didn't see it.
I did not.
I was mired in work, so I could not. But
and in a way, I don't want to. Like I'm
Yeah.
fine just waiting to see it and not have a bunch of spoiler-esque stuff. So
being of the older ilk, we probably are a little more patient when it comes to this sort of content, that we would rather wait and see than pull the trigger on having to get a quick look at something.
And perhaps a little lazy as well.
That too. Although in this
out.
age of AI, who knows what's made up and who's not, and what's not. So
I'm so sick of that.
I can't tell you how many times on YouTube I've clicked on a trailer thinking it may have been actually something that was released, and it's some fan-made trailer with AI where I'm like,
yeah,
thanks for that. Thank you for that.
Yep, and you contributed a view.
Yes, basically. I've done my job.
Yeah, clickbait is now taken the next level where it's just eating its own tail. I'm tired of it, honestly.
Well, that, my friends, is your neat and tidy week in Geek.
All right, sir. What do you got for a recommendation for our listeners and viewers? And another thing.
This will be a retread. I watched over the weekend, or started to watch with my youngest, Moneyball from 2011. It is on Netflix now, and I thought it would be a fun movie to watch with my son. And so we had a good watch. At least watched half of it. We're going to watch the other half probably tomorrow or Tuesday. But yeah, no, I very much enjoyed it. It's definitely a movie I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was. It was a surprise to me. Once again, Aaron Sorkin finding a way to take something that, quite honestly, is probably boring as all get out, and turns it into something that is actually relatable. They definitely break down what it is and the approach and everything in a way that I think anyone who's not too heavily into baseball and who can understand basic math can. Well, I don't know, Uncle Todd, he has some challenges from time to time with the maths, but I kid my brother.
It is well documented. It is well documented.
I think last week we had one where you seemed to think I had -3 when I in fact had -1. The minus sign does confuse things. I will grant you that.
It really does. It's very confusing.
But a very good movie about a way of looking at the game of baseball. I mean, quite honestly, I was explaining to my son how it was one of the, he was asking me, he's like, is that really how scouts would evaluate players? And I'm like, yeah, they would look at stuff like what kind of person they were dating and stuff and say, oh, he's got confidence. He's this, he's that. I'm like, yeah, this is what they did. And what this system is using actual data to make a decision. Mm-hmm. Who would think that would work? But it did. And so it's a very interesting story about the Oakland Athletics in their 2002 season, as they started using a new system to draft a team on a very, very small budget. So do check it out. Moneyball on Netflix, at least this month. I don't know how long it's going to be there. Yeah. How about you, sir? What is your and another thing?
My and another thing is a show that I started a little while ago and then kind of abandoned just because I had
going
on.
Oh, whoops, wrong. Sorry.
And then I just kind of picked it up at random and realized, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, because I'm kind of killing time until Strange New Worlds season 4 premieres.
What, you're gonna watch Stranger Things?
Yeah, no. So I started picking up Tulsa King on the Paramount Plus once again. Sylvester Stallone, a vehicle. It's a story of a gangster who gets out of jail after serving 25 years for basically keeping his mouth shut. And as a reward, he is given Tulsa. And it's a point of contention, a bit of a burr under his saddle, because he is very much a New York sort of guy, and was expecting his reward to be in the Big Apple, and it's not. He's out in the middle of fracking nowhere.
They say Tulsa is the New York of the plains, so...
So the funny part about this tying into Wyatt Earp is when he gets out there, one of his first things, he has a guy who picks him up he gets a cab at the airport, and Tulsa being an open city, that's the whole idea. The fact that there's no organized crime there's no families, there's no territories, no nothing. And he is getting a ride from the airport to a hotel, and they're going past a marijuana dispensary, and he has the guy pull over and essentially walks in and takes over. And essentially is like, I'm going to provide protection and this and that and the other. And they're like, well, what do we need protection? But he just kind of insists upon it and kind of just runs it and just like, yep, then this is what we're going to do. And you're going to pay me 20%. And then he just goes off on his own. And I'm like, it just reminds me so much of Wyatt Earp in that Pharaoh game. Like, no, I own this joint now. And I'm going to start here. And maybe it's small, but you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It's that same sort of thing. And in a way, it's the same sort of vibe that Stallone is going for here. Like when he walks into a room, it's very much that, that Chili Palmer from Be Cool, or, any type of prominent character just sort of walks in and they're just like, no. I'm, at one point, it's one of the scenes, basically the kid who gives him the ride from the airport, he hires him as like his driver. And he's like, here's 50 grand cash. I want you to go buy this. And he has like a newspaper cutout. He's like, I want you to go buy this car from this dealership for this money. And then the next day, the guy wouldn't sell it to him, goes to the dealership. And he's like, the funny thing is, you see my associate over there, and you see a black kid with a lot of cash, and you're thinking he's something that he isn't. And he probably never had a day of trouble in his life. He says, you see me walk in here and I'm wearing a suit, and he's like, instantly you're not afraid. But you're afraid of the wrong guy. And then proceeds to just kick the crap out of him. And get his car. So it's that same sort of thing. Like you can be afraid of the wrong folks,
Yeah.
But I just thought that was kind of an interesting tie-in.
Indeed.
But yeah, check out Tulsa King on the Paramount Plus.
The Blues.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for not Free Range Idiocy Friday. This is In Geek Wednesday. What am I thinking? Thank you all for tuning in. You can go to freerangeidiocy.com. You can get all of our shows there, both our Wednesday shows and our Friday shows. You can subscribe to the Podbean app. You can also find us on various other podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, just to name a few. There are many, many others. Go ahead and search for us at the podcast purveyor of your choice. If you would like, you can also get full video episodes. We are on the YouTubes, ladies and gentlemen, youtube.com/@freerangeidiocy. You'll get all of our videos there. You can subscribe right to our channel, and you'll get both Wednesday and Friday shows in full glorious HD color. If you have any thoughts, concerns, or ideas for shows, send those to tim@freerangeidiocy.com. You can also follow us on the Instagrams and Facebook. Both of those are at Free Range Idiocy. And let me see, that covers just about everything. So now I'm going to hand it back over to the man who runs In Geek Wednesday, much like Sylvester Stallone runs Tulsa. And I'm just going to ask him one very simple question. What do you got to say for yourself?
To the interwebs, we say, you suspect. We don't know what your reputation is in this town, but after what you tried to pull today, you can bet we'll be looking into you. To Uncle Todd, we say SPF 100. Look into it. That and aloe. But hopefully the pain is not as bad as what it can. We will see.
We'll see tomorrow.
And to our listeners, ladies and gentlemen, we say good day, ladies and gentlemen. And until that day comes, keep it to the grindstone.
You're messing with my Zen thing, man.
Now get the hell out of here!